Hello, beautiful Wild Woman. Welcome back to the Wild Woman podcast. I am your host, Hannah Furore, and so delighted to welcome you back into this beautiful Wild Woman energy. Here in this audio space, we are always traveling in pursuit of your depth, truth, and inner wisdom. And today, beautiful ladies, you are in for a treat because I wanted to share something very, very practical. We speak about here a lot about mindset and this inner game, but what also is a big part of that inner game is what glows on the outside. So today we are tapping into all of the little tips, tricks, or like at least my best tips and tricks about wild woman beauty and self-care. And I'm very excited about this because some of these little hacks have traveled with me about 20 years. Some of them are extremely recent, and I think they're all very, very valuable. And very often we don't bring these things up in circles or coaching sessions or things like that. They're just things we Google quietly at home and kind of try to deal with certain things we may be working on when it comes to our body. But very, very rarely we bring them up with like spaces with other women. But this is my podcast. I want to speak about all of it. I think all of it is important. Your inner world, your outer world. You deserve to glow inside and out. I deserve to glow inside and out. And yes, so let's dig into this pretty cool little tips and tricks I have for you today. The first thing I want to share with you is actually the reason what brought this podcast about. So I run just a little bit of backstory. I run a very social book club for a year now on Sunny Coast here for ladies who come together and they share kind of like what they're working on, what they're discovering, what they're doing, kind of like a self-development social type of gathering. And one time one of the ladies brought up there that I don't even know how it came about, but she just said, like, have you girls tried a crystal deodorant? And I was like, oh my gosh, I have seen this for years, if not like a decade, everywhere in little like shops, you know, where they sell organic skincare, organic different products, where they sell crystals, where they sell incenses, and somewhere between all the stuff on the shelf is like this deodorant that looks like literally like a rock of salt. And I have like looked at it and been very curious, like, how does this work? But every time I've kind of putting it back and thinking, that I feel like my body needs something way stronger than this block of salt. And when this lady was telling me about it, that she was like, you got to try this, girls. This is the absolute game changer. And recently it popped back into my mind again. And I always had this kind of like this belief that, okay, like when it comes to deodorizing my body, did I say it right? Deodorizing? If it comes to BO, I am going full haul and I don't want to take any risks. I am using the strongest, most common chemical deodorant off the shelf that does the job. And I will balance out my chemical load or toxic load from external sources somewhere else, because otherwise I'm a quite healthy person. It's not going to kill me. This is what I'm going to do. But in my local little grocery store, there is this crystal deodorant for sale. And every now and then I've walked past it and again, like looked at it and I'm like, yeah, nah. But the other day I actually got it and read the instructions how to use it properly. And now I think it's been about 2 weeks. Ladies, it is a game changer. You got to try it because there's really no need to use these chemicals, this really toxic stuff so close to our body, right on our skin, in our armpits, right close to all the important like lymph nodes, blood flow, close to our breasts, all of that, because this crystal deodorant, at least that I found, which they're all based on salt and minerals, it's amazing, and there is no going back, because honestly, even if I'm not wearing it at the moment, I still feel fresher than when I have washed off a deodorant that feels sticky, icky, and you never quite feel clean from it, even if you're giving yourself a good scrub. So first tip, ladies, try out Crystal deodorant. What my own little tip there, what I want to tell you is that, so how it works, you have this like crystal mineral stick in kind of like a plastic applicator, like any normal deodorant is, but the stick of salt is in it, and you have to wet the end of it. So pretty much you kind of put it quickly under a tap, at least that's what I do. And then you gotta take literally some time to apply it very generously. So I moisten the tip of it, put it on my skin, and do the same on the other side, and pretty much I rub it until it starts to like kind of dry up, so I know that some of the salt has melted off and applied to my skin. And so far there's absolutely no irritation, so there's no white marks on any of my clothes. And I wear a lot of black, I wear a lot of very close to me, clingy tank tops and everything, because I go to gym a lot, and my clothes are clean, because some of the natural deodorants have left like some really nasty marks on my clothes that essentially don't even come off in wash anymore. And I'm just thinking, well, that's not worth it. It's just, I feel like I'm covered in clay all the time, and I hate when my edges of my shirts and like the tank tops underneath my arms look like, have you ever washed this? Because it looks like it's shiny by now. It's kind of like this rubbed in like this product on my clothes. I do not like it. But this salt stick has not left any marks, and it also helps, I think. I've been wondering, like, how does it feel if you're constantly, like, let's say, shaving every day? And because I get regular laser treatments, so I have virtually no armpit hair anymore. So that means, like, I'm going very personal here, so that means that I don't have like this irritation from shaving, because even if we use these very fancy shaving things, the razors, it's still kind of like a little bit and kind of hurts your skin. So I'm not sure about that, but if your skin is all good to go, this has been so amazing. So do not hesitate to try it, apply it generously, and you are good to go. And there will be no going back to this chemical crap show that we have been sold for years and years and years and years and years. So second thing is one of my best tips that I learned when I was very, very early in my teens, I think. Then the beauty influencing wasn't really a thing yet, but there was this one girl on YouTube. Her name was, I think, Michelle Phan. So she was one of the first kind of like the OG beauty influencers. She started doing like these videos on YouTube, how to do makeup, and she got sponsored by Lancome very quickly, and she blew up. She kind of hit this sky high success very, very early on, and she was just an amazing creative, how she dedicated her life without kind of wanting any outcome from it, but she just dedicated herself into the sharing these beauty products and just having hell a lot of fun along the way. And she shared this recipe for a face mask there, and since then I have shared it with like tens and tens of people, men and women, any age, and it has been working a treat for me. It has been working a treat for so many other people. So here it is, and this is called the Aspirin Facial Mask for very, very clear and glowy skin. So recently I haven't had any like problems with my facial skin, so I haven't done this mask so often myself anymore, but I keep recommending to everyone who has problems with acne and kind of clearing up the skin. So how is this mask work is that you take 2 aspirin tablets that are uncoated. So this is the cheapest aspirin you can find from here in Australia. They sell it in grocery stores. In Europe you have to go to the chemist, get the uncoated aspirin tablets, put it in a little teaspoon and drop literally 1 drop of water on each of these tablets. Instantly they will puff up, and then in the tiniest little dish or at the bottom of a cup or on the bottom of a plate, what you can do is mix these 2 aspirin tablets that puff up into these little white grains or flakes. Mix them with a teaspoon of honey and a teaspoon of pure organic olive oil. Then you mix it together and it comes out this like nice, this oily honey, aspirin, grainy mixture. And if you don't use too much water, please don't put a lot of water on these aspirin tablets so the mask doesn't come out runny, so it comes out a nice like a paste. And when you apply it on your skin, it actually stays there. So you put it all over your face, avoid of course your eyes, and then leave it for about 10 minutes and gently then kind of like wash it off. And you can even give it a bit of a circular massage with that mask still on your face to kind of like exfoliate very gently with these grains of aspirin as well. And obviously, honey is extremely healing, antibacterial, hydrating, such a nourishing food for your skin. So is olive oil. This is just so hydrating for you, and a lot of people are scared that olive oil will clog your pores. No, it doesn't, because the molecule of olive oil is way bigger than, like, our skin pretty much doesn't react to it this way. So it's just this pure hydration, and your skin will start to clear up. And you might actually at the moment just listen and wonder like, well, why aspirin? So if you now Google aspirin and or look at the package of it, what aspirin is, I still don't know how to say this word in English, but in Estonian it said acetylsalicylhape. So this is Estonian word for it. It's salic something acid. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm sorry, I really don't. And I don't think it will help any of you if I try to make this word up here. So it's aspirin, but pretty much what is aspirin is the same ingredient that is used on all the fancy skincare out there, but then they have like this small percentage of this actual active ingredient, which happens to be aspirin. So this is something I didn't know until I was a teenager, seeing a video by Michelle Fawn on YouTube. And yes, and obviously I have very, very strong belief behind this mask, because I've seen like years and years of evidence. But feel free to try it out. Even if you don't need the aspirin ingredient on it, still honey and olive oil together is amazing, nourishing, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, all of that. And just this beautiful skincare routine to you that is pure, again, chemical free, and just amazing for your skin. And it would work perfectly if you're giving yourself a gentle exfoliation. Obviously, if you do it with aspirin, it's already there. And I've even shared this recipe with one of the good friends of mine who owns a skincare company, and she's been very curious about it too. I don't know if she actually tried it, but it's absolutely amazing. So share this recipe far and wide, because I know like how big of an insecurity sometimes skin can be for ladies and gentlemen. And of course, don't neglect the inner game for it as well. Gut health and all of this is obviously very important as well. But this skincare mask is an absolute treat as well. So that was tip number 2. Number 3 is bone broth. Oh my gosh. And some of you might go like, oh, nope, thank you. Skip. And that's okay. Especially if you're a vegan, obviously this is not for you at all. But just wanted to put this in here because, like, a little backstory, I used to be vegan. It did not suit me at all. I used to be vegetarian for years. That was kind of okay for me. But as soon as I took my training on a more serious level and regular gym training became a thing for me, this lifestyle just didn't suit me anymore, and I got very, very low with minerals in my body, very deficient in B group vitamins, particularly B12 and also iron. So I had to get regular infusions. And yeah, these procedures are definitely not nice, and it's even less nice being like the person suffering from these deficiencies. It's actually pretty crazy how your perception, your own understanding of like just a lot of things starts to kind of be really distorted if you are deficient in something very important in your body. So definitely not a vegan or vegetarian here anymore, but absolutely no judgment on anyone who's doing it. Like we are all on our own journey, and this is all perfect. But bone broth has been a huge part for me when it comes to like healing my gut inside out, and also glowing skin, long hair, all of this. I believe personally that bone broth has played a huge role in it, because if you take, animal bones and boil them on a very low temperature for a very long time, then they will release minerals, collagen, which is gelatin pretty much, and so many important nutrients for our body that just keeps us glowing and heals our gut and helps us to kind of like build our body up with all this goodness. And I've shared this tip to many people. If you don't know, I've been also I am qualified nutritionist as well, and when I was offering nutrition coaching, particularly then teaching people how to make bone broth at home was definitely a big part of that, because bone broth to buy is not cheap, and I also feel it's extremely unnecessary unless you are very tight with time. Even here in Australia, even if it's hot, like we below 20, the temperature just does not drop these summer months. So I cook it outside. I put a little like a stovetop outside on just a unfolding Bunnings table and leave it there for a few hours. And how I make my bone broth is obviously put the bones in pot, fill the pot to the brim with water, and use filtered water if you would like, and if this is accessible to you. And I add there all sorts of things. For example, a couple of carrots, onion, cut into quarters. I add the cinnamon bark, always one nutmeg, like a whole or even pieces of it, or you can put shavings in it. I add a couple of cloves of garlic, some celery sticks if I have. I add, if I have a half a cut tomato somewhere left over in the fridge, I put that in there. So it's this pretty much like little bits and pieces and scraps go all into that stock. So it also has this vegetable goodness in it as well. And always some parsley sticks. I have always some parsley in the freezer or on my little veggie patch outside. So it becomes like this mixture of different herbs, spices. Obviously, I add salt and pepper to it as well. Bay leaves is a very big for me as well. And just little amounts of everything besides salt, because I freaking love salt. Little amounts of everything, and it will come out this beautifully balanced flavored thing. And you boil the bones on a very low heat with all of this veggies and herbs and spices in it for about 4 or 5 hours maybe on a very low heat. At first you bring it to boil, and then you can leave it kind of do its own thing. Like Estonians like to say, sometimes you boil these things with one bubble a minute. So they don't have to go like crazy boiling that like pops the lid off the pot. It's just very low simmering heat that is just drawing all the goodness out of like all the stuff you put in a pot, but doesn't kill it, because crazy heat and crazy bubbles, I feel it disrupts energy and also kills nutrients as well. So just gently boiling it, drawing the goodness out, and after you can store it in containers, you can freeze it for a long time, or you can cook it into soups. You can just have it as bone broth from a cup. Like my husband really loves it. Just every time I boil it, he just has it cups after cup after cup. He just drinks it hot. Imagine like this beautiful bone broth with some parsley or dill on it. It's just this beautiful, beautiful goodness that is hydrating, nourishing, this absolute food for your body, and so pure as well. So yes, keep an eye on the bones when it comes to your local shop or butchery, and don't be shy going full hunter mode when it comes to stuff like that, because it's so healthy for us. And just a little extra there that might sound a bit icky for some of you, but I add pig trotters into my bone broth as well, and that connective tissue and collagen from there is just next level. And yeah, so good for you. Apologies if you are a vegan listening, you are not gonna like this part of that little beauty tip. But you have your own little hacks where you can get all the goodness you desire and need, and that's all perfect as well. Yes, so that was tip number 3. Number 4 is the best makeup remover you will ever need. And this is organic olive oil, ladies and gentlemen. You don't ever have to buy any fancy two-phase electric blue looking fancy littered, like labeled littered bottle for makeup removing ever again. I know most of you probably wash your makeup off in a shower. I do that too a lot, but I also use, because I have a very, very good eyeliner by a company called Eye of Horus, which does like a pure sacred makeup here in Australia, and their eyeliner is just next level. So that can be all like a separate beauty tip on its own. The pencil stays cell for your eyes. This, when you put it on your eyes, it freaking stays there, and it doesn't come off with just quickly giving it a rinse in the shower. So I use olive oil for makeup remover, and have done this for, I don't know, since my makeup days started, which was very, very early. And I have tried along the way also that when they sell like sets for like makeup remover and mascara and eye pencil in it, and this makeup removers just run out within the first week. The mascara lasts for months, and you're like, okay, so what's that's crazy. Like first of all, the price, and the chemicals, and like it's just very unnecessary what we have been sometimes marketed to. And yeah, olive oil does the trick. And I have, my little jar broke actually recently, but I'm on a hunt for a new one. But I have always this little beautiful glass, little like tiny jar with a beautiful ceramic lid on it, filled with olive oil. It has a very tiny jar as well, because my bathroom gets a lot of natural sunlight, and olive oil doesn't like to be exposed to sunlight. So it either needs to be light proof or like a dark glass container, or just put it in a cupboard. At the moment, I just take it right out of the bottle and put just a few drops, more than a few drops actually, on a cotton pad, and clean my eyes. And yeah, it's obviously very nourishing as well, and beautiful for the skin around your eyes. And it's obviously like chemical free as well, if your olive oil is chemical free and organic and very good quality. And olive oil always buy from a glass bottle. That's something my beautiful friend naturopath told me as well, that anything out of a glass bottle, pretty much you are generally on already on a good track there. So yes, try out the olive oil makeup remover. There is no going back. I know a lot of people are huge fans when it comes to coconut oil and adding it like absolutely everything. They use it on their skin, they use it on their hair, they use it as a massage oil, they use it as a lube, they use it like everywhere. I have to like come out here with the no, it's not for me. Coconut oil is not a thing for me. I use it sometimes for food, and I put a tiniest amount in my little homemade, but there's this little goddess balm I make and sometimes sell if I have extra jars. I make my own skincare a lot, and there's this magical body balm that I make, this has been my love for years, and more and more women now keep asking me for that. So every now and then I make like 5 jars at the time. So it's this very, very niche, unique little jar of balm that lasts you for a while. And this has just the tiniest amount of olive oil in it, coconut oil in it. But I am definitely not a huge fan of using it pure, because I think it stinks if you leave it on your hair or if you leave it on your skin and then you put clothes on that skin and you at some point like it starts to I don't enjoy that smell. It doesn't have this beautiful perfect coconutty smell. It just has this very weird smell that I cannot handle. And excuse me there, but that's not my thing. But olive oil as a moisturizer, olive oil as a makeup remover, facial mask, olive oil is my thing, and I eat it. I put it on my skin internally, externally. I am a huge girl fan of olive oil, and cannot get enough of that. This weird girl who orders a banana bread and asks for a little ramekin of olive oil on the side, because I freaking love olive oil with like on everything, on my porridge, on my toast sometimes, on everything. And obviously butter is my favorite too, but sometimes olive oil just hits the spot. Anywho, and what is I think at the moment the last beauty tip I wanted to share with you is we already touched earlier when it comes to a bit itchy on the pit. So if you are not getting laser treatments, then this is for you. So like this is obviously about your body hair and shaving and razors. So a little backstory why this is an important tip for me to talk about the razors and all of that, because obviously we all have body hair. And when I used to be a personal trainer, this was a thing that came up quite often because obviously girls are there in the gym sweaty and always in tight clothes, because you know your best workout gear that you feel most comfortable in is very tight. They're all very synthetic materials and they don't let your skin breathe, and they rub on all the wrong places. Sometimes, you know, your bikini line is just all red dotted, and sometimes girls would ask me like, oh my God, I don't really want to bring it up, but like, what can I do? It's driving me crazy. My skin feels so irritated and it's just so itchy, and I feel like it's a constant cycle. It heals and then I have to shave again, and it's just, what's going on? And unless, like, obviously I've been getting laser treatments for years, and the more you have them, the less you have to have them. I got like, I think nearly 10 treatments, way more than a year ago. Must be, I don't know, maybe even 3 years ago now or something like that. I got regular treatments, and first you have them every like 4 weeks, then you have them every 5 or 6 weeks, and eventually, you just don't need to go anymore. But then I had a break, and I felt like, okay, now like a couple of years later, it's kind of like nearly back to normal, like the situation. And I bought out another 10 session package for my Brazilian and underarms, but yeah, and what do you call underarms or underpits? I don't know. I keep mixing them up and I make up words in English on my own. So if I've been using a wrong word for that, I'm sorry. Maybe not so sorry, because you probably had a good laugh about it if I kept using some weird made up word. But I've had now 2 treatments out of the next lot, and I don't actually think I need like the rest of the 8 treatments. But this laser treatment has been amazing for that. But if that's not your thing, for whatever reason, then the best thing you can do for saving your skin is use a 2-blade razor. 2-blade razor, ladies, that isn't like this extremely fancy, close to skin, like 4 or 5 blades that leaves like your skin like silk. Yes, with the 2-blade razor, you gotta obviously do it more often, but you are saving yourself from a lot of itchy skin, from a lot of irritation, particularly when it comes to your bikini line. And now there is obviously new razors out that they have a kind of like protective edge that doesn't allow the razor to come that close to your skin, not just like this big padded gel crap around it that melts off like within the first 2 times you use it, but actually has a little metallic edge next to the blade that is particularly for pubic hair, and that has been work and treat as well, but these are very pricey as well. So just a 2-blade razor is a very, very good option to kind of like save your skin and save yourself from a lot of heartache and skin irritation and all the rest of it. So this is my very, very, very best tip for that, and has saved a lot of ladies who've brought it up and mentioned this to me, that this is wildly uncomfortable. And also, little tip when it comes to like razors themselves is like every time you have used your razor, a lot of times ladies just leave them in the shower or somewhere in the shower, on the tiles by the bath or by the shower or on the floor of the shower. But what I always do with all of my razors, even when I still use them on my legs and that, because I hate waiting for waxing appointments and that's not my thing. I'd rather shave. But every time I use a razor, I turn it around. So I leave the blades up, so it's not sitting against wet surface somewhere and just kind of rusting away and collecting bacteria there and just staying wet for a long time, because it will instantly lose its quality. You lengthen the life of your razor for a humongous amount of time if you turn it around. Even maybe if you would like to dry it before you put it in a drawer, if you do that, but the least you can do is sit it the other way around, so the blades are up and down, and it can dry out instead of like kind of stewing there in warm moisture that obviously oxygen water creates rust and eats away your blade straight away, and again causes a lot of this micro irritation in your skin that is just so freaking unnecessary. Yes, so these are my little tips for you ladies today. I hope you found some very good gold here that works for you. Obviously, there's no right or wrong thing there. There's just something that just works for one woman, works for me, and it has worked for some other women as well, or a lot of other women that I've recommended these things. And if you have some very cool tips to share as well, feel free to comment on this episode or send me a message. I am happy to share more cool tips and tricks with other women through this space, through this podcast that is reaching now across the globe in so many different countries, and I'm so happy. Thank you everyone. This podcast is truly finding its pocket, finding its listeners, and I have all of you to thank for that. So it's so good to share these little very practical tips with you, and like I said, I trust you found your gold here. Thank you so much, ladies, for tuning in. Much love to you all, and I catch up with you already next week.